Hey everyone, today I am working on the Altered Index 2025 challenge put on by Nonstop Paper Crafts, and I'm on week 39, and the prompt for week 39 is Gypsy Boho, either or. I don't really have much that kind of fit with, well, I didn't even really know what boho style was, so I had to look that up. And I did see some boho art that was like circular patterns with plants and stuff, and I thought, well, I can do that. I didn't really have a lot else in my supplies that I felt worked with that. So I've got my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch watercolor cardstock. I probably don't even need watercolor for this one, but I've been doing watercolor cardstock for the whole challenge, so I'll keep on that. And then I have used my stitched circle die by Prism Studio to cut out some circle shapes so I can use them as masks. I'm gonna shade in different colors, so I'm gonna start with that one. So I have picked out a few different colors. I've got the Distress Ink Lost Shadow, and then I have a couple of, what are these Stampin' Up? I've got Sahara Sand and Soft Sky. So I think I'm going to start with the blue. And I've got my trusty Loki, the keeper of my brushes. I'm just going to pull a couple brushes out there. And let's start inking this up. I'm trying to think what is the best way. I think I'm going to put that there so that it kind of catches on my glass mat. And let's go here. I guess the color might be slightly different than when I use it on white cardstock, because this watercolor cardstock has a little bit of a beigey tone to it. This kind of looks a little more green than blue, but I like it. It'll work. Oops, that just shifted. Hold on. There. That should work well enough. Just need a little bit more ink. And look at that, it shifted again. I should have taped this down, but that took too much effort. So, and I am constantly moving this. Okay. That's all right. I'm almost done with this part. Okay, that works for that one. So put that color away. And let's bring out the brown. And which one is smaller? Okay, I'm going to bring the slightly larger one of these two. And let's go maybe there. I like to craft with my coffee. Okay, I think that's probably good for that one. And then I will come in with the last circle. So let's just turn it around here. And let's go maybe like that. This one I only have in the tiny little cube. And I'll just use the same brush. And if it has a little leftover residue of the brown, I'm not that fussed. And then I generally keep, on my desk I have, I'll just show you here, I've got this little pottery dish that my nephew bought me for Christmas. And I keep little die cut things, so I've got some different leaves and foliage stuff in there. And then I have another one over here that has sentiments. So I have already gone through and picked some leaves and a sentiment, and I have them off to the side. So I will show you those in a few minutes here. Oops. Almost done here. All right, I like those colors. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a baby wipe and clean off my mat. Some paper towel. Okay. Those are nice colors. All right, so I have got that little kind of goldish, I don't know if you could tell, it's sprayed with some sort of, I don't know if it's a glitter mist spray that I have or if it's one of my distress spritzes. I did it a while ago, so I just thought that would probably look nice. And then this one is, trying to think where, okay, this die came from a magazine with some different foliage dyes. This die came from, I think it's Prism Studio Essential Greenery. And I have spritzed it with a distress spritz, I think Antique Linen. So I thought I would just kind of put it sideways on that one. And then these next two foliage dyes are from that same magazine set. And they are spritzed with probably whatever that one was. I honestly don't remember. But I thought I might pop that one. Do I want it on? Maybe just slightly off. Whoops. Hold up. Work with me here. Something like that. And I might have these just slightly coming off the edge of the circle. And then the sentiment is from a Tim Holtz set, I think. Be Your Beautiful Self. And I thought I would pop it right about there. I'm just going to double check this sentiment. Yes, it is from this Tim Holtz collection, Stampers Anonymous. I don't know what it's called. It's a mixed media one. Anyways, I have previously stamped that on the same watercolor cardstock and heat embossed it with a gold embossing powder from Wow, most likely. So my thought is just to stick these on here. But you know what, I might get my card base and glue the panel onto the card base first. I have a filing cabinet next to my desk that has all of my pre-cut card bases. I generally will put a show on or something and cut a bunch of cardstock and score and make my card bases while I'm watching something. So I'm going to use my Barely Art glue. So it's hard to get out because I pulled the top of the pin, the little round part off. I do have these little mini pliers that, oh, it was a little stuck in there. Just gonna give it a little extra poke and make sure it's going to be nice and free-flowing. Looks like my measurement was slightly off. That card base is a little longer than the panel, but that is an easy fix. I will just trim the whole thing down. Quite enough, actually. Oh, come on. Okay, that got the edge of the actual watercolor. Okay, clean this up. All right. So now I simply have to glue the images on in the sentiment. So I want that one. See, that one just fits nicely on. I might leave that one on. Just that one doesn't quite fit. Piece of dust on there. And this one, go something like that, with this one coming up just a little bit and slightly off the circle. All right, let's glue these down. Well, this video should be a little faster since I actually had most of the elements in my little trays of pre-made things, which happened to work out really well. Even the colors that they were worked out really well with the sentiment and the whole vibe of all of this. Acrylic block and just kind of push that down for a moment. probably do this one while that one is being glued. Maybe I didn't put enough glue on that one. I'm just gonna tuck a little bit behind some of these leaves. Let's get this one. Okay, that works better. And then this guy. Ooh, I smudged a tiny bit there. I guess the ink is not completely dry. Oh well. Doesn't really bother me. And let's go like that. Okay. Put the pin back in my glue. And I'm just gonna grab my little eraser that gets my glue off of my scissors and just see if it will take that smudge off. Well, look at that. It doesn't always work on my cardstock, but I wondered because this is more of a textured thing, if it would work, and it actually did. So look at that. I am finished this, and in real time this has only taken me 17.5 minutes. So yay. Anyways, here is my card for the Altered Index 2025 challenge put on by Nonstop Paper Crafts, and this is week 39, which is Gypsy / Boho. So anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful, peaceful day.